Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 626 days, Ukraine stands strong against the forces of the Russian invasion. Yesterday, Ukraine marked the first anniversary of the liberation of the city of Kherson, southern Ukraine. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky awarded warriors who took part in the liberation, as well as those who were resisting Russians under the occupation, both guerrilla fighters and members of the local authorities. The city still suffers from regular shelling by the Russian forces. The president stressed that Ukrainian troops will respond to the Russian army strikes. In his evening video address, Volodymyr Zelensky informed that the evacuation of Ukrainian citizens from the Gaza Strip continues. The number of those successfully rescued reached 214 people. Ukraine has also helped in evacuating citizens of Moldova. The president thanked Defense Intelligence, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ukrainian embassies in the region, and all those who are helping with this work. Moldovan Foreign Minister Nicu Popescu thanked Ukraine for evacuating 9 Moldovan citizens, reports Censor. Energy Minister Herman Galushenko believes that the Russians will launch massive missile strikes on Ukraine's energy infrastructure once air temperatures have been below zero for a long time, reports Ukrainska Pravda. He explained that in that case, the low temperature will add to the damage. At the same time, the minister noted that the Russians did not cease their attacks on energy infrastructure even in the summer. We would really appreciate if you could recommend us to your friends and family, as well as share information on social media. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Germany has allocated an additional 4 billion euros for military aid for Ukraine in its 2024 budget, reports European Pravda. Initially, the finance ministry had only budgeted 4 billion euros for military aid to Ukraine in the 2024 federal budget. As almost all of this money was earmarked for already existing projects, the German Defense Ministry had only 120 million euros left for new aid. The ministry asked for an additional 5 billion during the current budget negotiations. In the end, an agreement was reached to add another 4 billion to the next year's budget to support Ukraine. For Kyiv, this means more weapons and ammunition in the war against Russia. Also, the German Ministry of Defense will be able to spend a further 2 billion euros on long-term arms supply contracts. Earlier, EU diplomacy chief Josep Borrell warned that the US aid to Ukraine is likely to decline. Therefore, EU countries should be politically prepared to maintain their support for Ukraine in the face of this. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine will require suppliers to mark the fuel for the armed forces with a special color, reports Radio Liberty. Diesel fuel will have a bright red dye added, while petrol will be marked with green. The ministry plans to establish the supply of such marked petrol as early as next week. Marked diesel fuel is expected to be available by the end of November. It is expected that the marking will enable the identification and tracking of fuel purchased exclusively for the needs of the armed forces, reducing the possibility of its illegal sale. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We are a commercial initiative of just 2 people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.